Today we are discussing the Scarlet and Violet era and whether I believe it's going to hit MSRP on the free market again. There are a lot of feel-good YouTubers popping up that make their audience feel like they're on their side. We're all in this together, and one of the big proponents of that would be Team Rocket Joey, a channel I don't personally watch, but a lot of people do. He's got damn near 13,000 subscribers now, and the only reason I saw this particular piece of content was Mimic Brew, who I do watch every single upload of, and Mimic Brew, from what I understand, is now on Team Rocket Joey's bad side because Mimic Brew agrees with Nostalgianomics. There's a lot of
should have taken my advice 6 months ago. They should have acknowledged what was going on. People have literally fallen off from posting content because their creativity has been exposed. Now they are doing drip shop live giveaways.
You and the people using your strategy of throwing my name or face in a thumbnail, it's not a good way to collab. Team Rocket Joey does this too. That's why I've ignored him. I blocked him.
What's going on, guys? It is your boy Kev signing here, and we are back with another video. And today, guys, let's talk about some Pokemon beef in the hobby. Before we get into that, though, bam, check that out, y'all. We did pull the restaurant from the white flare here, and we're also going to be talking about this set because it's been dropping in price pretty significantly as well. But today's, guys, we're talking about the beef that's happening in the Pokesphere, predominantly between Team Rocket Joey and Pokeannie. And before I get into the video, I just want to say I don't have any beef for either one of these guys. I take takes from both guys. I watch a lot of PokeTubers, so I agree with some things they say, and I disagree with some things they say. I have a really decent relationship with Joey, right? I've talked to him in DMs. I've even taken some investment advice from him that's worked out, but that's neither here or there. We're talking about the beef that he's currently in with Pokeannie Bryant and the whole MSRP talk that's in the sphere right now, because literally, I'm making a video on it right now. Joey's made a video on it. Pokeannie made a video. Danny made a video on it just yesterday. There was another, there's so many videos about MSRP being dropped right now, and I've been getting DMs about it. I'm getting talks about it. People have been asking me at the shows because I've been starting to vend, and people know me now by my hat, which is really cool. But let's talk about MSRP a little bit. If you guys haven't seen from the intro, I did show you guys a little bit about their videos that they just dropped about each other in the beginning there. And they predominantly, as of right now, are beefing. Brian believes that we might and more than likely not see MSRP in the Scarlet and Violet era, and there's a couple factors for it. Team Rocket Joey, on the other hand, believes that MSRP will show back up in the Scarlet and Violet era, or more than likely will show up in the Scarlet and Violet era, because history repeats itself and there's data to prove that, right? There are arguments to be made on both sides of this coin, kid you not. And I'm more in the agreement of Danny Phantom, believe it or not, because Danny also recently just released a video on that.
And we get all these rumors and all this information out there about Pokemon card reprints because we are of the belief and of the mindset that history is going to repeat itself, that we are going to get large amounts of booster box reprints. But Pokemon card reprints does not necessarily translate to booster box reprints like it had in the past. It used to be during like the pandemic days, and really even before the pandemic days, that Pokemon would print just this exorbitant amount of booster boxes, and then they would have warehouses full in Bellevue, Washington, or wherever their local offices, their warehouses, and they would have a couple warehouses scattered throughout the United States, maybe one over in Europe, that would house all these booster boxes, all these collection boxes, all these extra products that then they would ship to distribution, who would then sell it to local game stores. And right now, your local game store is hurting because it's tough for them to get product, which is why you have these situations where people like local GameStop store owners are selling booster boxes for market pricing as opposed to MSRP, which, again, I'm not going to throw shade at any store owner that decides to do that. It is their business, and they should do it the way that they think is going to be best for them, because I personally know how difficult it is to get product. I'm still of the belief and the mindset that if I get wholesale prices on a product, I'm going to sell it at MSRP. So like White Flare, Black Bolt, Destined Rivals, Journey Together, Prismatic Evolutions even, like we sold those at MSRP. Mega Evolutions, we will sell at MSRP. I know there's a lot of talk about MSRP going up. I have not heard anything about that. I think Mega Evolution is is still going to be $160 per booster box. That's what it was on Pokemon Center when they sold their booster boxes. So I am of the belief that I'm going to be selling Mega Evolutions at $160. $160. Everything changes though after that first print run comes out, because then there is no more product. And I sat down with some distro owners last week.
So y'all could see that, you know, Danny is pretty much talking about the MSRP Crave 2 as well. And pretty much with Danny, I'm more in the belief of Danny's side that, one, there's actually two arguments about the MSRP. One, will MSRP be kept, you know, go into the new era, right? And from what we've seen, it should. Pokemon Center did drop, like Danny pointed out, right? That they did drop at the same price as the Scarlet and Violet, so it shouldn't be an increase of MSRP. Second of all, when it comes to MSRP, right, Brian makes some good points, right? So Brian makes the point of that the hype is crazy right now. In addition to that, like he says, he is a business person. He's in the business end. He hears things in the background. He hears things from distro. And as of right now, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case when it comes to MSRP in the Scarlet and Violet era, right? In addition to that, he also talks about how, you know, if Pokemon really wanted to get things down to MSRP, they could by not releasing these newer sets like Mega, you know, in the new era, right? And just focus on printing the old.
Starting with Scarlet and Violet MSRP, he is very convinced that this block is going to go back to MSRP and everything will be happy and gay. And here's the problem with that. Scarlet and Violet is getting older. Pokemon has new products already lined up, and they are months and months and months into printing those. Just today, we got an announcement of a new product that's after the next set. We've got the September Mega set, and then now we have this like Phantasmal Flames or something. It's a Gengar and Charizard set. That's Mega Evolution set 2. That comes out in late fall. And so we've already got, we're not even done with Black and White yet. That finishes up in late August. So we're doing Black and White now. We're in the process of it. And then we've got the Mega, and then we've got this Phantasmal Flames set. And Pokemon is probably printing the next 2 or 3 or 4 sets right now. They're up,
which is aren't made that people have made for the last year now, right? Which is true, but they can't because there's a timeline that Pokemon has to follow, and they're working on the newer gens, so they can't just stop, right? Which makes sense, right? So that's how we get to the point where we're not going to get to MSRP. He also talks about how there won't be any reprints for some of this stuff because it's older, right? You know, you talk about the older sets in the Scarlet and Violet era, you know, like, you know, Scarlet and Violet base. You talk about, you know, like Paldean Evolved, things like that we not be seeing again. So there are good arguments to be made for that. Joey, on the other hand, right, his argument is that history will repeat itself, and history normally does. I cannot argue with that logic because, and again, in a lot of cases in human history, it has shown history normally does repeat itself in a lot of cases, right? And we're kind of seeing it right now because if you look at the newer stuff in the Scarlet and Violet, especially predominantly the newer stuff, it's dropping in price. Like it's Prismatics dropping, Black and White Bolts dropping. You know, Destin is actually the only anomaly that I'm actually seeing that's actually going up. But other than that, everything else is dropping in price because we're getting multiple reprint waves. Even 151 is dropping because we're getting more waves of it. So again, his argument is that these are newer sets. We're going to get more reprints for these, and we could even potentially get reprints for the older ones because we've seen that happen in the older era. We've seen that happen, you know, like just what we're like, even in the era that we are in right now, within the last, couple of months, we were still getting Crown Zenith reprints. We were still getting Crown Zenith to come out. So, I mean,
Do you guys think for a single second, 1 second, that Pokemon, the #1 IP in the world, is going to leave money on the table for you? You think they're going to leave it on the table for you? You think your Scarlet and Violet investments are safe from never being reprinted? Never going down to MSRP? Everyone's... It seems like at this point, I'm the only one on the island. It's just me. Literally, just me. shouting at everyone on the boat of it's never coming back down to MSRP. Guys, it's coming down to MSRP. Guys, just wait. Just be patient. Even, man, I hate to say this. Even the ones that I thought had a chance, the ones that I thought.
He does make a good point when it comes to, reprints will happen. In addition to that, he also talks about how the hype is cool, but it will also dive down, and I've also made a video on that as well because it's true. I mean, we're seeing the hype rate starting to dive down. Not every set's going to be a banger. Not every set's going to be a banger. You could take White Flare and Black Bolt for a perfect example of this, right? Because it was going for an astronomical amount of pricing, pre-orders, and now it's dropping like a tank, like it should, right? And it's continued to drop because it's following this almost the same trend as Journey Together because it's not a popular set. Like, it's not that popular when you think about it. Like, this card is cool. I said it multiple times in my video that, hey, you know what? Gen 5 is not going to be that huge. I'm not even that big of a fan of Gen 5 Pokemon. There are only a couple of Pokemon I like from Gen 5. Gen 5 doesn't hit like Gen 1 or Gen 2 or Gen 3. It just doesn't. So we're seeing that. Journey Together, and you could argue in some cases, it's already at MSRP because all the Pokemon in there are some cool Pokemon, but it's predominantly a trainer set. People don't like trainers, so I see shops that have it in stock. I've seen shops that are selling it at MSRP. I've seen people sell it at literally on Facebook close to MSRP. If not, you could wheel and deal them to get there. I kid you not, because Journey wasn't that popular. So we're seeing people take digs. We're seeing scalpers take digs on these unpopular sets and leaving and going to other things. People are now shifting over to Magic because Magic is the big crave right now as well because of the Final Fantasy stuff. So things are happening. So there are arguments to be made on both sides of this coin, like I said, right? Very strong arguments to be made on both sides of this coin. My opinion on this whole MSRP crave thing here is that I'm on the belief of Danny Phantom is that, because Danny does point it out in his video that history does repeat itself. He also points out that the reprint patterns can also be different, especially with the, all the new stuff and the more people that are coming in and we don't know how things are going to go, which can be the case. But if we're going off on the logic that history repeats itself, then we will see MSRP. If we're going off the logic of Pokemon Brian, right, and this stuff isn't going down to MSRP because of these factors, then yes, more than likely it won't go down on MSRP. As of right now, because I've had this question asked to me point blank, Kevin, hey, do you think the Scarlet and Violet Air will see MSRP? My question, my answer to that is that I believe that for the newer things, more than likely we will see MSRP, right? I just believe that, and I say that because we're seeing that already. I just made that argument. We're already seeing that trend happen. Prismatic in the beginning of the year was 150. 6 months later, 4 waves reprints coming out. And this is just within, 6 months, 6, 7, 8 months of it being out now so far, that we've seen the reprint, four waves of it. And if it follows the same reprint patterns as the older sets, like, like even like Crown Zenith, where it's still getting reprints like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, then at that point in time, we should get probably another year, at least probably another year of reprints of this stuff. So yes, there is a possible, very good chance of things getting down to MSRP. Like I could definitely see Black One White Flare getting close to MSRP. Journey, again, like I said, is already there. Once more reprints of Destined Rival comes out, that'll start getting close to where it needs to be at for that. And then Prismatic, we're already seeing drop. There's still reprints of 151 coming out. So guys, there's 151 is still dropping literally right now. What the Blooming Waters at 150 now, you could pick it up literally close to $100. That's almost about MSRP, I think. What is it? No, those things are like what? I think when they came out, they were like what, $49.99 or something like that. I think that's how much it was. So we're not at MSRP, but if you take the I guess the packs into consideration and the way you run, because Joe does make videos on it, and there was a particular podcast where he does talk about how to get there.
I had a Stained Glass Birds PSA 10 copy that I graded myself. I bought it for $20 3 or so years ago, graded it myself for $20, so I was into the card for $40. I traded it for 4 Blooming Waters boxes and $50 on top. So essentially, I got $540 worth of value out of that card, which then brought my Blooming Waters boxes down to $77 a box average
Damn.
price. So essentially, I'm at or very close to MSRP. So the longer you're in the hobby, the more you can make kind of plays like that to make it make sense.
Which blew up. So again, there's an argument to be made with it. So again, right now my belief is that yes, if I'm on the belief that history does repeat itself. So there is a chance that this stuff is going to get down to MSRP, right? I'm not trying to hyper show. I'm not trying to FOMO y'all. I'm just letting y'all know my opinions on this. When it comes to the new era, yes, I think the new era will still continue to see the exact same MSRP pricing that has been seen, like Danny pointed out, right? And when it comes to certain things not getting to MSRP and Scarlet Library, I do agree with Pokemon on that. Like, do I think we're gonna get reprints of Scarlet and Violet base? Probably not. Right? I mean, usually the newer the set is in the lineup of that era, that's usually what the first thing they ask when it comes to reprints, right? So we've had our waves of reprints of like Scarlet and Violet base and Paldean Evolve, and we might get more, we might not get not, but as of right now, that's unlikely. And there's been these hyper shilling, FOMOing, Discord, notify guys, or trying to, tell you that Paldean Evolve reprints are coming and these and things of that nature, which how do they know? How did they know? Maybe they know, maybe they don't know. I don't know, but there's just a lot of FOMO and hyper shilling happening around MSRP. People are making life changing decisions off in this. Believe it or not, people like the people that are investing into this stuff, the people are buying and selling this stuff, are making life-changing money, life-changing decisions on this stuff. Like, it's unreal. It is unreal. I'm only making this video because I want to give y'all my opinion on it, because people have asked. In addition to that too, I want to obviously give you my take on it, and I just don't want to see anybody get hurt in this market, y'all. I just don't want people to get hurt, or I don't want you guys to lose out on profits if that's what your goal is. It's just whatever you're trying to achieve. I just don't want y'all to get hurt in this. And I've been in this hobby, I should say, for about a year now. And, I'm not saying I know everything about everything, but, because that I go vending, because I rip and ship and I make videos and I'm a PokeTuber, I have to keep up with all this content. And sometimes my brain just starts spinning because of all the takes and of all, like, again, there's just so many stuff. So I just cannot imagine the average person that just likes watching Poke content, or just likes to kind of know what's happening here, watching this stuff, like their head would turn. And if new people are coming into this and they're trying to make plays on this stuff, like, they're gonna, like, you could potentially get hurt for sure. Now it's happened. It has happened. It has happened. So guys, please just do your research before you make any buying or conscious decision to start using your money on this stuff. Just please make sure you're in a good situation. I usually don't even make a play unless I'm okay with taking the hit. If I know there's a chance of taking a big hit and I'm still okay with taking a hit, I'm okay with taking that risk, I'm okay with it. But do not take a hit if you cannot afford it. Trust me, I've taken big hits and I paid for it, paid heavily for it, right? But I've also had big wins that I celebrated, right? I mean, again, and Joey has helped me get some of my beginning investments when I first started this hobby a year ago. Same thing for Poke Annie Bryan. There were certain investments that I made that really popped off, right? Because Poke Annie Bryan's more on like the Japanese, the Korean, all that stuff, right? He's more on that, and I made investments on that, like, kid you not. So again, there's arguments to be made on both, guys. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Do you guys think we're going to get to the MSRP in the Scarlet and Violet era? Do you think we're not going to get to MSRP in the Scarlet and Violet era? Do you think both of these guys are throwing shade at each other and they both make good points? Or, just let me know. I actually generally want to know what y'all think about this, because it is a little bit getting wild out here. And like I said, guys, no dick shade to either one of these guys. I watch them both. I like them both. I just wanted to kind of get this out here, because at the end of the day, this is the content game. I'm still a PokeTuber. I still cover stuff. This is what I do. And I'm going to give my viewer base, what I think on this stuff, because you guys do DM me and ask me, and those type of things matter. And I wanted to make sure you guys are taken care of. But Other than that, that is going to be it for today's video. I appreciate y'all watching today's video. This has been your boy Kev signing. Peace. I'm out of here.